Rony, so great to meet you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, busy. How are you?
You're busy. Yes, you are busy. So I want to hear about CommunyCo, and I want to learn all about why it is that you're building this. But maybe just to start off, can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a founder, as an entrepreneur, and what led to the creating of CommunyCo?
Sure. I always saw myself, as a business owner someday. And always had those ideas in head, but n- I don't know, I just wasn't enough, I guess, about, one specific idea to actually do something about it. Um, and then a little over a year ago, when the pandemic started, me and my partner both lost our jobs. Um, so we just started, thinking about stuff to do at home because we were so bored, and just find ourselves, wanted to solve a problem out there, and it's all started that way. And basically, CommunyCo started that way, and it changed a lot. It changed a lot since then, but that's how everything started, basically.
So what was the problem that you and your partner wanted to solve?
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was more about like we were frustrated and overwhelmed with like how much low quality content there's, online, and the fact that you can't really talk to anyone,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, we need to solve that for the users. And the more we got into it, the more we realized that the problem is not on the user side, it's on the content creator side. Um, there are so many content creators, and some of them are great, and some of them just don't really care because they need to, keep fighting with algorithms that change on a daily basis, and fight for followers, and a lot of stuff, and a lot of negativity. Um, so we decided to launch CommunyCo more to solve the content creator problem, which was to, have a better way to build a community for yourself as a creator. And we launched our closed beta almost, yeah, about 3 months ago. Then we did an open beta because we had a lot of traffic. But honestly, now we kind of like we're pivoting because we realized that's not enough to solve the problem. Like we want to, it was working well, the platform. It's not enough in our eyes to help content creators. Um, so right now we're actually working on developing an app for creators only, where we support them. So everything, from education on how to be a better creator, even how to start to be one, and into mental support and partnerships and community of other creators.
So what was the original solution that you envisioned, and what it was the problem that you experienced that your app at the platform at the time wasn't solving?
I think it was mainly how to communicate with creators, like how basically have this community on uh, some interest that you share with other people, um, without the negativity that's out there in social media, without looking for those high quality creators, or the ones that communicate and whatever. And like the main things that we did is that we only onboard creators that we believe that that's how they, act. Like they communicate with their followers, they answer questions, they care, they have high quality content, and so on. And that was the original. Like this is how we decided to solve it. Um, and then again, it was working well. We just felt that it's not enough from what, like, in our vision, it's just not enough.
And what is enough? What's the pivot? Where are you headed towards?
I think the vision is to be the place where creators can, stop being lonely, because this is a very lonely journey. It's a very, like, anything. So all of that education part, there's some of the platforms touch that today, but not enough. And a lot of creators just feel lost because they want to know how to write better, but they don't know how to even start learning it. Um, or who to, who to listen to. So that's one side. And then the fact, like, that community of creators where they can share their journey, share tips, create partnerships, which is something that became really strong today. And right now they do it in kind of like unscalable way in, in DMs and stuff like that. Um, but we say, okay, let's do it, with more people, with more options. And we're also working on like a feature that they will be actually be able to do partnerships in any platform they want through CommunyCo. Um, so that's, and then also on the mental health issues that a lot of them, it just it's part of being lonely, and also, the harassment they get on social media and all of that. Then it's really hard. A lot of them, like, there's over 50% of like creators that suffer mental issues that are just because of them being creators. So, and basically that's what we want to be. We want to be the place where you as a creator, when you want support, you want to stop being lonely, you come to CommunyCo and you find your peers.
So the creator, this is a YouTuber, this is a musician, this is a filmmaker, this is a
Everyone.
chef.
Everyone. So we actually started the original platform was only for creative subjects like baking, cooking, gardening, stuff like that. But now that we shifted, we feel like it should be open to everyone. You can be a writer and feel lonely, and you can be a chef. It doesn't matter. Um, and I think in the end, those groups will find themselves, right? Like chefs will find other chefs or other bakers to talk to because they maybe understand each other better, and then writers with musicians, whatever. But yeah, everyone that create content, technically I'm a content creator myself, although I don't consider myself one. um, but everyone that thinks about being a creator, that wants to be a creator, that is already a creator regardless of what he's doing, yeah, that's the place for them.
And I also saw a tweet. I don't know if this is currently your model, but I saw that there was like a creator who made $100 a month or $100. That's what it stuck out. Can a creator make money on your platform? Is that one of the benefits
um,
of it?
it used to be for the original platform, and one of our creators, he did like cook-alongs online, and he did like, I think, over $300. But we kind of helped them do it off platform. Just that's just part of the support that we gave, right? Like we've been working with every creator and like try to solve their current needs. Um, and like specifically him, he was working in the hospitality business, and here in Toronto, everything were just opened up. So he needed money, so we helped them do those cook-alongs. Like other creators, we helped her translate recipes because she's originally from Israel, but she wanted to, touch more like English speaking. And so we did that, but that was part of the original platform. And like it's still open. You can still join. We just I don't know. There's so many platforms today. They help you monetize, help you create community. Um, we feel like we need to focus on the other side.
The
So
other side around loneliness and around
on
community.
around the support, everything that's basically around the creation itself, right? So like we're not providing platform to create content or monetize on that, but we provide you everything that you need to get there. Um, and also not to burn out like after a year, stuff like that. So
And how do you do that? How do you support
um,
creators?
yeah, so it starts from the community where they have kind of like forum like space to communicate with each other on different subjects. So whether it's just, how to monetize on other platforms, like I said, partnerships, collaborations, any tips about engagement, and so on and so on. What I mentioned earlier, that we're working on a feature where they can basically swap accounts in any platform they want. So it comes from two places. One, it can be for fun, right? Like it's fun, it's exciting. Also, and the second one is that if you want to take a vacation as a creator, no one is gonna work for you. Like it's just you. And if you don't create content, people leave. So, how cool can it be that I go on vacation and you take over my account? You go on vacation, I take over your account.
Hmm.
Um, and then no one loses followers. Honestly, maybe they even get more followers because it's
Hmm.
exciting. There's someone new it's super cool, right? And that solves the problem where creators literally don't take vacations, especially in the first year when they start. Um, or if they sick, they feel obligated to keep working and stuff like that. And then into the support, which is like support group, like for just to share experiences, you know, just so for creators to talk with other creators.
As a founder, as an entrepreneur, so you started this at the beginning of Corona-ish with your partner.
Yeah.
What has been that experience like, starting something completely from scratch, having a certain kind of direction, making a pivot? It's basically a year and a half later.
Yeah.
What's that experience been like for you as a human being, as a creator, as a founder?
Yeah. Wow. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I learned so much. Even if it doesn't work in the end, I can't even put a price on how much I learned during this journey.
Hmm.
Um, like for example, I'm talking with you now, and like you can see me on video, but I look pretty confident. I don't know,
You look
confident or
fantastic.
yeah. So a year ago, I would hate talking with people that I don't know on the phone.
Hmm.
And I just because I had to talk to people, I had to talk to investors and other founders and potential customers. I I honestly I did a 180. Like talking to people now, it's not something that I'm shy or I'm afraid to do. I even like help people, give them advice. Gonna start mentor soon, and stuff like that. So like this is something that I couldn't learn anywhere else, right? And I used to work in hospitality my entire life, and it was still not the same.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I learned so much, you know, business wise, communication, um, and yeah, I honestly just I don't even know where to start.
What were you doing before? You said hospitality before you started
Yeah.
CommunyCo?
Um, I was an analyst before that, for just like a hospitality company. Um, and before that, I was an operation manager for a couple restaurants, and hotel and so on. So yeah,
So you're a
was
first
always my
time
thing.
you're a first time founder.
Yeah.
And what was your partner doing before?
Um, so she's actually right now a creator herself. But before that, she was actually a filmmaker. That's what we moved here from Israel 4 years ago, hence the accent. Um, so we moved here because she wanted to learn film, and that's what she did for the past 2 years, 2.5 years. And before that, she was also in the hospitality, so like she was a manager in restaurants. And actually, before that, it was funny. It was like she was one of the founding team of a Israeli startup for fashion creators.
Mm.
It didn't go well in the end, but it was quite a journey. So she was always in the creative space. She was also always creating herself one way or the other. Um, so yeah.
And what's it also been like in terms of lessons learned, going from an employee, working as an analyst, working in hospitality, even being in operations, to leading a team? How has that been for you as a founder?
Yeah. About leading a team, it's so natural for me because before that, like I was working as a manager before. I always had people working not for me, but like I always I was always managing, at least a couple of people, if not like 20 or something. Um, so that's just, the same for me. But being a business owner, it's a lot of responsibility that, you had some, but like now, you need to make sure that you have enough money to pay salaries. You need to talk to customers and sell them your idea and investors. Um, I don't know, like you need to motivate your employees because it's not just the money, right? Like working for a startup, like you need to actually be part of it, especially in the first like couple of years. Um, so yeah, it was a change. Like I would say, it was a big change, although some of it was quite familiar from what I did before. Um, but it's definitely, yeah, it's I guess it's just like multitasking like 50 different things every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what have you also been learning from the customers or from your community? How has that influenced your vision, your next step forward?
Yeah. Um, I think that mainly what we learned is that what we did before wasn't enough. Because like overall, I think, in the past 6 months, we probably interviewed like over 100 creators. And there's a few pain points that keep coming up, and like we thought we can solve it with what we did before, and we realized it's not enough. Um, but like the one thing I think talking to customers, or maybe two things, is one, you never know what they need until like you actually create it and they start using it, because we had so many people say they love the idea of CommunyCo when we just started, but when it came to like okay, let's start doing it, let's start uploading content, it's like, oh no, I'm too busy. But I really love your idea, but I'm too busy. So you have those, and like you need to really find your early adopters, and at the same time, if someone says there's a problem, you really need to get to like the where it all comes from, because usually it's either money or time, right? Like most people, you need to solve one of those problems. Either they don't have enough time or they're not making enough money. Because anything in between, they might like it, but they're not gonna love it. So I think that's like a main thing. When you talk to customers, you need to kind of like deep go deep into
Mm,
what exactly you're solving,
mm.
um, and how you're going to do it, and make sure you have the right people, um, but also at the same time, take it with a grain of salt. Don't let your customer lead your product, because
Yeah.
then you're just going to build features and features and features, but you're not going to get anywhere.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, everything just it has a balance.
What were some of those pain points? And maybe you already mentioned them, but what were some of the
Yeah.
pain points that you wanted to drill in and get to understand more specifically?
Yeah. I think a big one in the beginning was the safety issue online.
Hmm.
Because a lot of creators, actually, from interviewing everything, one of five creators get harassed online. So, or cyber stalked. Like we met creators that people threatened their families on like based on nothing. Or just, if they don't upload recipes, they get, messages saying, I want your recipe now. And like, in like really, I don't know, it's maybe they don't threat them, but like, it's really not like, it's a negative way to do it. So we really wanted to to solve that. And then part of like in the original platforms that we didn't have private messaging, because most of those harassments, they happen on private messages. That was one. And then the second is that creators have really hard time just, you know, gain and like gain followers, especially engaged ones, because they need to, compete with so many other creators, and also compete with algorithms, because you may be trending one day on Instagram and then the next day you're nothing. And so that was two, and that's why we kind of like, okay, we're gonna create our own platform. We're not gonna have algorithms. Everyone have like an equal chance, but it's hard to bring in the people when you have so many other, other competitions, or competitors. So yeah, so that's a two big pain point, and that's why, and like another one is the fact that they just can't take time off. They always need to be on. Um, so like for example, one of our creators now, she's actually on vacation, and she she was smart. So like she created content in advance, but now she's on vacation, and every day she keep uploading it to Instagram and like commenting and answering people questions, because if she's not, then they just stop following her. Um, so that's another thing, because this is, like there's a lot of similarities between founders and creators.
Hmm.
And I think the burnout, it's a big issue, but that's the fear that we kind of gathered, and that's why, like in the beginning, we were diving into the education part, because we say, okay, we're not gonna provide a platform for creation because there's so many, and like how do you choose the right one for you? But if we can help them be better creators, or like how to gain more engagement, then it will be easier for them to grow and monetize.
And how do you solve the support issue, the fact that they feel supported and they're not harassed? And because as long as you're putting stuff out, people are going to, or can, how do you solve that?
So the harassment we can't solve on other platforms, because you know social media, especially social media, is social media, and like you don't really have what to do. Uh, the only thing we can do is, provide a community of other creators that suffered from the same thing, so they can share experiences. Um, because it's like, if you were bullied as a kid, and I was bullied as a kid, we can share experiences, right? Like we can support each other, because we suffered from the same thing. So I think that's like where the community, right, um helps. So that's what we focus on when it comes to that. And then, like I said, support groups and stuff and so on, with people that specializes in those subjects.
And what's been, from looking at how your community uses CommunyCo, what has been the most insightful or surprising use of CommunyCo? Has it been the support? Has it been what's been the most surprising way that they use CommunyCo?
So right now it's still in development. The like the entire platform, basically, like the entire platform for creators in development. But just through talking with creators, um, I don't know, it's hard to say, because like it takes time to get those insights. Um, but I really think that in the end, it just mostly about how they can, communicate with each other, um, and support each other. And like you always have those, creators, they don't care. They just for themselves, they want to make money, they have a business, and they're done. They don't care about others. They don't suffer from the same issues. Um, but in the end, it you always have, you have different type of people. It's not a fit for everyone. Um, so yeah, so far I think that's it.
And what would you say is the bigger vision here? Like, it sounds to me like you're really helping a certain kind of creator, because there's different communities of creators. And it sounds like they suffer from a very unique challenge that you're uniquely suited to solve. Is that the bigger vision? What would you say is the bigger vision for CommunyCo?
Mm, like the way I say it, if I'm looking like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it just, sorry, the dogs. um,
Dogs are welcome.
yeah, I have two. Do you want him? Uh, yeah. So then, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we really see yourself as, you know, the partner for the right platforms,
Hmm.
um, where we supplement the creation itself. So even if you're just thinking about being a creator, and you just kind of like want to test the water and see what it means, or you already established and you have like 500,000 followers on TikTok, either way, CommunyCo will be a place for you, and you'll find other people that are the same. Um, and I think that's the vision, right? Like we supplement the creation, and like right now, all of the platforms, they I don't know, focus on how you can monetize better, how you can grow your community, which is it's nice and you need that, but no one touches about the like in all of the other stuff. What about like why does it help? How does it help when people, okay, great, they monetize and then they burn out and they leave? No one, it's not the way to go. Like you want it to be sustainable. You want to do it for the rest of your life. And for to do that, you can't do it alone. Like, look at self-employed people or like freelancers. You can't do it, your entire life alone. It's just not gonna work. Um, so basically that's where CommunyCo, fits in.
I'm very excited about where CommunyCo is going. Another interesting experience is creating something with your partner. How has that been for the relationship? Because that's a completely new paradigm of a relationship. So that you're
Yeah.
not only partners, you're business partners, you're founders,
Yeah.
co-founders. What's that been like for you?
It was like hard in the beginning, but we set some rules where like, just to make sure it's not work all day, because you live together, it's like being in an office 24/7 when you have like someone to talk to on work all the time. Um, so like we set some ground rule, like if when we cook dinner and eat dinner and everything, that we don't talk about work at all. We can talk about basically everything else except work. Um, we we like in the beginning we worked a lot together because it was for like coming with ideas and like hiring and stuff like that. But now it's a lot like I have my stuff to do that I need to do, and she has hers. Um, we also moved into a new condo when we actually have 2 bedrooms. So like now we can actually, I'm here talking to you, and she's like in the living room, doing other stuff, probably emailing stuff. I don't know. So that's like a separation, but yeah, it just, I don't know. Like we really, um, like we complete each other. Like we completed two different people. Um, so I think that's how we kind of dove into it. It's like I'm doing what I'm good at, she's doing what she's good at, and in between we're just talking to each other about business and other. We're trying to take the weekends off as much as we can. Um, just to do stuff there and not work because it's just all day long. Um, but yeah, it just I think in the end, if you work with a partner, then you just need to set some rules to not work all day long
Hmm.
or not think about work all the time, which you're gonna do anyway as a founder, but at least, you know, you don't have to, or you don't feel like obligated to. So
And what are some of your tips or advice or insights in terms of mental health? You come across mental health in terms of the challenges that a lot of creators face. What's your advice for mental health?
for creators or founders or both.
Let's first start with creators.
I think for creators is be true to yourself. I found that a lot of creators, when they try to, how to say, please their followers, they regret it, and they don't feel like, I don't know, they feel lost. So feel, be true to yourself. Don't chase the followers. Find like your super fans. Find your engaged. Um, and again, honestly, just be real and be true. I think in the end, those the ones that that's gonna win. and find other people like you that you can just talk to, about your journey, your experiences, like whatever that is, so you can kind of just talk to someone, that understands what you're going through. Um, I think that's those are the two main things. And also take time off. Yeah, I know it's hard, but like that's something you have to do.
And for founders, what's your advice?
Pretty similar. um, no, for founders, I think that today a lot of founders, especially first-time founders, feel obligated to be working 24/7, and it's not true. First of all, you're just not productive when you do it. Second, you're gonna burn out really, really fast, and you're gonna fail anyway, right? Like in the beginning, we were working all of the like every weekend, all weekend, um, and now, like I said, we're really trying to not work over the weekend at all, unless there, we have some meetings that we have to take or some emails that we have to send. Um, but it really helps you like clear your mind. Um, and nothing's gonna happen if you take another day off or a few hours in the middle of the day just to go to the beach or whatever. Like we do like a really long walk with our dogs in the morning, um, and then kind of go back, start work, and then usually do another like a 30-minute walk in the middle of the day, and kind of just clear your mind. And like we're lucky to live by the lake, so like you can just like sit there and relax. But even if you don't have a lake near your house, just find a place for you to just just stop, stop thinking or obsessing about something for, I don't know, half an hour, and do not work into the night unless you like really like it and you start working in the middle of the day. Even 9 hours, it's enough. Even 7 hours, it's enough. If you think you're not productive anymore, just really be conscious of your time and your mind.
Beautiful. I think that's a really important message for a lot of people to hear, especially at this stage where you can work all the time. So I appreciate that. What's also been your experience in the fundraising capacity? How's that been for you?
Hard. Um, like we're still in, like what's still in? We just started not that long ago. Um, it really like as first time founders, we're not, none of us worked in the startup ecosystem or even finances in, before that. It's hard. Um, it's also interesting, like you talk with investors and you can say the exact same thing and one will react like this way and the other, like I don't know what talking about like how we approaching a go-to market, and then like one investor say, I don't know if that's like enough of an incentive, and then the other was like, this is brilliant, I think that's gonna work. I was like, okay, just different backgrounds. And So I think first of all, talk to as many people as you can. Don't wait to talk to investors, and don't wait until you fundraise to talk to them. Start building relationship beforehand. Even if it's just like, hey, I'm not fundraising, but I really like what your fund is doing. Let's just have a 15-minute conversation. I don't know. We'll have to just, get to know you or like tell you about my company, maybe, and get those people into your investor update and do that. But like network, that's probably the best, like the most important thing when you fundraise. Um, we're like most of our fundraising is cold outreach, and it's hard. It takes much longer. You get a lot of no's, um, but just keep going. Um, in the end something will fall, and if not, then if no one believes in your idea, either and you still believe it, then either find another way to do and like prove all of them wrong, or maybe rethink what you're doing and see how you can. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Don't like throw it out and start something new, but maybe just the approach. But also like just listen to feedback from creators, from investors, right? Like in the beginning, we heard a lot of you know it's a competitive landscape, so how you gonna win and stuff like that. And since we shifted, we're not getting those so much, right? And that was part of it because we realized, okay, it is competitive, like it is competitive and it's hard. um it's not really fulfilling what we wanted to, so that's why we decided to pivot. But just if something comes again and again and again, then maybe you should stop for a second and think. um if there are a few questions that coming again and again and again, put them in your deck, you know answer them before you get to the meeting. um yeah, and just keep those relationships alive. Like we had a bunch of investors say it's too early, like I like the idea but it's too early. So it's always like, okay, so we're gonna add you to our investor update. You never know who's gonna be your next investor. Maybe next round they will want to lead because they see your progress. And also, I go back to what I said. You never know who's gonna be your next investor, and you never know who's they're gonna talk to. So don't be mean. If you get a no, then just take it and move on. You don't start to, I don't know. Like even if they give you a feedback, don't tell them they're wrong. They feel you know they feel that way, then that's fine. Even if you disagree, then just move on. Um, so yeah.
You send investor updates to people who said no, investors who said no?
Yeah. If they said no because no, we asked them first. So never add an investor without asking them, right? But if we got a no because it's too early, then definitely, right? Because if they like the idea but they want to see more traction, or they just, we're pre-seed, invest in seed or whatever, definitely put them in the investor update after asking. Because when they see your progress, that's already like when you start raising your next round, you already have them. Um, and even if they get like we got a no because so I have one investor is like the no is because the landscape is too competitive, which is kind of like another thing. Like, hey, if we want to see more traction, because if they can see you're gonna be the winner, they will invest. So go to investor update. We got one that I don't remember what it was, like defensibility. Just ask them. Most of them, 99% of them will say yes, unless you were wrong from the start and they don't even invest in your space and they will never invest in your space, then really no point. Um, or for another example, we had an investor say that he cannot invest because he has conflict of interest with one of his portfolio. Then I would not put him in investor update because he's literally invested in one of our competitors. I don't want to I don't want to update him about my business and how it's going. Um, but if you think that might be a potential investor later on, then yeah, ask them to add them to investor update, because even if they won't invest but they like your idea and they think the company is doing well, then they might even suggest another investor. It's like, oh, check out this company, they're doing really well, you might want to get in now before it's too late. So yeah, you don't really have anything to lose by doing that.
So I've found you through Twitter. What's been your experience of Twitter? What would you say Twitter is? Why do you use it? Why are you active
Uh,
on it?
yeah, it's funny. I hated Twitter for so long. Uh, it's like my partner opened a business, not a business, but an account for me. I don't know, 6 months ago. I was like, no, I hate Twitter. I don't want to use Twitter. I don't see the point. Um, and then I don't know, like people start talking to me, it's like, look, it's really good for business. There's so many investors and like other founders and whatever. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I joined I don't know, 4 months ago. Like I actually started posting. I had like 3 followers. Um, Now I have almost 1,000, and honestly, it's great. Like then again, like I said for creators, I really try to like stay real and true. I'm not doing like I'm not I don't I'm not afraid saying things that I think, and like investors or other founders or like whoever might not like it, but honestly, don't care because there's some people that need to hear that. And in the end, there's so many people that think the same, right? And like they just waited for someone to say it. So yeah, just trying to keep it, keep it real. Um, just, bring value. I met like, I don't know, like dozens of like other founders. I had couple of investors that, I got on a call because of Twitter. I actually even got like investors reaching out to me on Twitter. Um, so it can be a great tool as a founder to kind of put yourself out there. Um, I kind of because I was just too busy. I'm not really. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a while since I actually posted something about that. But like we also trying to do building in public, so other founders can also see my journey. But yeah, the more the busier I get, it's harder to like sit and think about something and like actually answer and stuff like that. But like I'm trying the best I can. But yeah,
How would you define what building in public means?
for me, it just share your journey, like decisions that you make. Just sometimes just how it feels to make a decision. Sometimes just like clearly just called like stats. Like one time we reached out to that many investors. We got, X no's, X meetings, uh, X responses, and whatever. Um, Even if it's not good, I also like to put stuff even if they're not good, if we failed or whatever, because a lot of like founders in Twitter is like, hey, look, I just raised my $2 million from like, and I don't even know the investor. Or like I send them an email and say, hey, you invest now or never, and they invest. It's not working like that, especially not when you're a first time founder, especially not when you're an underrepresented founder. Um, and also not everyone become, a clubhouse overnight. So it takes time and it's fine. And like I think a lot of founders needs to hear that like, you know, sometimes you fail and it's fine. The secret is just keep going. Well, no, lessons learned and keep going, right? Because it's you're gonna fail so many times while you build your business. Doesn't matter, just remember. So we were talking with one of our mentors about the pivot, like, and it was like, is it should we do it? What does it mean and stuff like that. And he's like, look, there's a company that I forgot the name that actually IPO'd lately. They pivoted like a big one 4 times, and they almost like went through bankruptcy every time. And in the end, they fucking IPO'd. So sorry about that, but yeah, like it's not a bad thing. Honestly, I only see it as a good thing unless you do it because from like not right reasons. It's only a good thing because it means you learn something and now you're trying to fix and do something else that's gonna work. Um, so yeah.
Amazing. Well, first of all, I mean, it's very inspiring, and your courage and your boldness of being honest and being real and being transparent and even sharing the bad news or whatever. I think that's really commendable, and I think a lot of
Thank you.
people should take that on. So I'm excited to see where CommunyCo goes. I'm excited to see where you go. Where can people learn more about CommunyCo and follow you and your work?
Well, you can always follow me on Twitter. About CommunyCo, well, if you go to communico.com, you don't have to sign up. but in there you can actually go to the About section, where you can learn, you can read about CommunyCo, learn about what we're doing for creators. You can sign up, I think, for our next webinar. I don't know, maybe not yet. I don't know if we open it, but like you can keep track and sign up for our next webinar, which is gonna be like we're doing a series of webinars for creators. Already had two. One was about blog writing and one was about post writing. The next one is gonna be about basically sales writing. So you can go there, you can um, track. I also, when we do it, I always put it on Twitter as well. But yeah, you can go there and read about CommunyCo, and yeah, and see any updates that we have.
Rony, great connecting with you. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
I find your journey and your message and everything that you're about very inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you.